Hello! So today we're going to be building a PC for my friend right here who made the excellent decision of switching from console to the PC master race. Shout out to Micro Center for hooking us up with all of these parts so that we could do this build today. Excellent deals and steals over the Black Friday weekend. So our build today is going to consist of the Ryzen 2700X with the RGB cooler and the MSI GTX 1660. And I'm going to show you how to build a PC in 2019. Let's get started. So I'm going to be walking you step by step through everything that we did in this build, showing you some of the things that you can do better and the things that you should always do. We started unboxing everything. My friend couldn't contain his excitement, so we opened everything. But I recommend you just open your motherboard and lay it down on the anti-static bag that it comes inside of, and place it on top of the box, just to make the whole process easier. No, you need that!
Oh, so why?
To put the motherboard on top of it.
Wait, on top of it?
Yeah, because it's an anti-static bag. Here, grab the bag and put it under the motherboard.
Bro, you said on top of it, you know that?
My bad.
I was so confused. Okay. Anyways.
Alright. Then, you want to unbox your CPU and place it inside of the motherboard. You want to make sure that the triangle that you see on your motherboard lines up with the triangle you see on your CPU, as seen here. Always make sure to lift that bar next to your CPU socket before you put your CPU in, or else you'll be achieving nothing. Once your CPU is in there, you want to pull that bar back down so that your CPU is nice and snug in there. Next, we installed the cooler. This was my first time installing an air cooler, and honestly it went a lot better than I expected. Luis was freaking out thinking that I was gonna break his motherboard already. We successfully got the air cooler on. Next, we plugged it in, and now we install the RAM. You want to make sure that if your motherboard supports a dual channel RAM configuration, you take advantage of it. So you want to make sure there is a DIMM slot in between the DIMM slots that you're using for your RAM. So you want to pull back the clips, and then you want to pop that RAM in, and you'll hear a click, and the clips will go back in. Next, we opened up the case, starting with the glass panel to put the motherboard inside. Usually there's just a screw on the side or maybe a handle to take that glass panel off. Make sure to take that off and put it somewhere safe. You want to line up the motherboard with, it has these little pegs or metal things popping out of the case. You want to line it up because you're going to use those holes in your motherboard and those peg thingies. I have no idea what to call them. I'm sure that while I'm editing this video I will know what they're called. To screw on the motherboard and make sure it's tightly in there. You're going to line it up with the I/O panel on the back. Usually that I/O panel comes inside of your motherboard box and you have to put it on the side of your case. For some reason on Luis's motherboard it came installed with it, so we just used it like that. Also, we had to remove the fan that was right above where the motherboard, the I/O panel was supposed to go through, because we just could not squeeze it in there. So if you have to remove a fan, go ahead, you just screw it back on.
Okay, so tell them what happened. Tell them what happened.
So you need to screw on the motherboard, and he didn't bring the box of the case. So I was like, oh, we're screwed. We're not gonna have any screws to screw in the motherboard. But yeah, we opened the back, and I remember that they come in the hard drive compartment. So we pulled it out, and here are the screws and everything else. Next, we were going to install the graphics card. So I gave Luis the honor of unboxing the graphics card, the most important part in a gaming computer. If you're gonna spend the most money on anything for your computer, it has to be the graphics card. Always, before you install the graphics card, unscrew those brackets on the side of your case. Now, the actual installation of the graphics card into the motherboard is similar to the RAM with a clip that you have to pull back, and then as you're pressing down your graphics card, you will see that clip push back in. Then you want to screw it into that space, those spaces where you remove the brackets, and so that your graphics card doesn't fall or get damaged or bent or any of that. Now your storage device might differ from the one that we're using. You might have an SSD that connects to the PCIe slot or just a regular hard drive. We had an SSD that connects via SATA. What we did was unscrew the SSD mount on the back of the case, and then we screwed the SSD onto that mount and then just put it back on the case. Simple. Before we plugged in any wires anywhere, we installed the power supply. So you want to make sure you get the right wires hooked up onto your power supply before you put it into your case. It sucks after you put the power supply in, you screwed it on, and then you remember, oh man, I forgot the PCIe cable, the CPU cable, or really the hardest one to miss, the motherboard cable, which is the biggest cable in your entire system. With the power supply installed and all the cables plugged into the power supply, we began to route them from the back to the front to plug them into the motherboard. Plugged in the motherboard cable, which is the biggest one, and then the PCI cable, which connects onto some graphics cards. Not all, but on this 1660 it required it, so we plugged it in. And you want to refer to your motherboard's manual to know where everything goes. It's just the safest bet, and if you are confused by what any of the connectors are, there's always Google. Trust me, Google will help you a lot. There are so many forums, so many questions online that have been answered, and there's also my comment section, which you can leave a comment and I will find you a solution. Now, with all your cables plugged in, everything hooked up, you're almost ready to turn it on and enjoy the wonderful world of PC gaming. Of course, put your panels back on, the back panel. Make sure that your cables are nice, arranged. Cable management is so important. You don't want to mess. You don't want to have a nice build and then it's super messy in the back, and also because it's harder to put the back panel on. So make sure your cables are nice and managed, and slap that back panel back on. Screw it if you have to, or connect a hinge if you have to, whatever your case requires you to do. Then the glass panel, screw that on, hook that on, and now enjoy this satisfying clip.
I don't have any veils. Okay, that's it. Oh yes.
Now the build is complete. We hooked up a keyboard, hooked up a mouse, a monitor, plugged the PC into the wall, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. Oh yeah. Oh, that is a cool cooler. What's up? I'm gonna with you just to make sure that it's my height.
I'm like not even that tall than you, bro. Damn, I know you hate yourself. Who's coming upstairs?
My brother. Alright, bro, let's make a clickbait title. A clickbait thumbnail.
Jarvis. Oh my god. No, you Jarvis. That was. Didn't you just ask?
What are you doing?
What do you mean? What am I doing?
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Look at the motherboard.
Yeah, I know, but I noticed. It's hard to see. Look at the droid.
Oh, that's the house phone. You can screw those, the MV screw. Oh wait, no, not yet. I didn't connect the fan.
What are you doing?
Ow! Okay, I got it. I got it. Just record.
I'm recording.
Okay,
Bro, you
I'm
scared me,
laying down,
bro.
I'm laying it down.
This kid is insane. I gotta just let it go. You turn it on?
Mhm.
You
Go
turn
ahead.
on the monitor?
Everything's on.
Well, my PC just
Dang it! You didn't plug in the PC.
Oh.
Come on, bro.